What is up? Lit up fam. It's your girl Pearl. Welcome back to your Lit Up Life podcast, where we're talking about all things about hacking, living lit life, having more energy, doing things that you love, and of course, bioraving. This is now home of the BioRave movement, where we're helping ravers biohack and thrive and party sober and just live a life where they feel high naturally. In today's video, we're talking about focus. Focus, focus, focus. Now, this came up because I actually had one of my friends DM me and ask me, she just started a new job sitting, not sitting, but working in an office and doing more sitting than she's used to because she used to work in the field and do a lot of stuff in the field outside, and she always was really active. And now she's sitting in the desk and working on a computer and needing to stay focused for longer periods of time on certain tasks. And she was finding it hard to be focused and stay focused. And I was like, you know what? I used to have a struggle with this. I'm sure many others might also relate as well. So let me do a podcast episode about it. And before I dive in, I do want to share that there are a few more points to focus and brain optimization and just having your brain work in an optimal state, specifically focusing on nutrition and movement as well. We're not going to touch on that in this episode, so I want to keep this one a little bit shorter, but I will be talking about in the future, like ways to optimize your brain through nutrition and movement, and really just the overall ways we can do this and biohack our brains for better performance. And so, and today I'm going to talk about the very specific things you can do on a daily basis, like more practical, tactical things that we can do when we're working to improve our focus and productivity. All right. So we're going to dive right into it. And if you're loving this episode as you listen to it, please let me know and tag me on Instagram if you're enjoying this one. So the first thing you want to do actually is be very specific and intentional when we're creating tasks to work on when we're sitting at the desk. So a lot of times when we work, we're just like, oh, I'm going to do this, or I need to do this, need to do that. And we have this whole big to-do list that's overwhelming. And we feel like, oh my gosh, this list is ridiculous. Like, how am I ever going to get all this done? Right. You're looking at the list like, I don't know if I have enough time for this. How am I going to do this? Okay. Yes, I used to be there, but taking to-do lists, that's a whole other podcast episode, is a to-do list. But realizing that we just need to prioritize our tasks and realize and focus on what's actually really important in that day and what we actually need to get done. Okay. So being really intentional and specific about what we're doing. So instead of saying like, oh, I'm just going to create content, what exactly are you doing? Where are you creating it? How many pieces of content are you creating? Right. For me, for example, I just finished batching content and I told myself, okay, Pearl, you're going to batch 12 TikToks. And I did. Right. And so being very specific and having those tasks can really help us, especially because our brain likes tasks. It likes to do things, likes to get things done and be organized in that way. So it's super important to give our brain that task and something it can focus on. Be like, okay, we're doing 12 TikToks or whatever that is for you, right? So getting that organized for yourself and deciding what that's going to look like for your task for the day. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to really think about our distractions. A lot of times we can't stay focused is because of distractions. There is also a piece that has to do with brain optimization, being properly hydrated, right? Giving your brain nutrients it needs, moving the body, right? All the things which is super important that we need to do as well. But we're just going to talk about distractions in terms of like having things around that are distracting you. One of the biggest distractions for most people is the phone. The phone. And why this is actually, I'm going to share this, is because the way our phones are built nowadays, they are like these little handheld drug addictions for our brain because our phones release so much dopamine in the brain. When we're checking notifications, there's colors, it's stimulating. We have notifications, we get likes, we get, affirmed, we get the social credit. We feel like we're belong, we're doing this and that, right? It's giving our brain a sense of, oh, this is important. Wow, like I'm loved. Like this is look if they're liking, like who's talking to me, my friends, and that is all releasing dopamine, which is great. But the only thing is that it often can get out of hand and we can create maybe an addiction to our phone. I know I'm working on reducing my addiction to my phone right now, actually, because our brain always wants to get that dopamine hit. Okay. Now, I want to touch on this later, but that's why we get so distracted by our phones, is because of that. So one thing to do is remove the distractions, okay? The second thing we're gonna do is remove the distractions. Now, if you have a distraction that's anything other than your phone, then you're gonna figure out how to remove that distraction. Maybe it's people in the office or people at the home, or like it's too loud, it's not quiet enough, you know? Figure out how to remove other distractions as well. But I know the phone's a huge one. So taking your phone, putting it away, putting it somewhere, turning it off, or putting on notifications off, or airplane mode, or do not disturb mode. There's literally so many ways you can support your focus and productivity. So just choose one, do it. And for me, I usually put my phone face down, like on the far corner of the desk. So in order for me to actually reach the phone, I have to like actually physically move. And so, for example, I phone this podcast and my phones are away out of reach, face down, silent, no notifications, nothing can disturb me. Right. So, figuring out how you can really get that down in your own life and taking those distractions away. Now, for those of you that are like, oh, but I work on my phone. Oh my gosh, what if I work on my phone? Right. And that is a great point, and we're going to address that. So, if you work on your phone, that's totally great. What I still want you to do is remove distractions from your phone, right? Is turn off notifications. Don't let all these things pop up and distract you. And going back to point one, being really intentional about what you're doing on the phone. Are you getting back to DMs? Are you engaging? Are you sending emails? Are you, what are you doing on your phone? And that's all you're focusing on. For myself, I do that too. I'm going to go to Instagram and I ask myself, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I actually ask myself that question every single day. So that might be something you want to take away from this is like asking yourself, why am I here? What am I doing? And I'm like, actually, that's a good question. Like, why did I open Instagram? 'Cause sometimes you just open Instagram like subconsciously, just automatically, because we're so used to it, and you didn't actually have a reason to be in Instagram. So I'm being really intentional with my use of social media and my phone, like why I'm doing this. And this doesn't just apply to focus and productivity. This also applies to literally everything. If I walk into my kitchen, what am I doing here? If I open the fridge, why am I here? Am I actually hungry? If I, go to reach for something, what am I doing? Do I actually want this? Right? So really taking that mindful pause and being like, what is this for? What is my intention here? What am I trying to achieve? Right? Great. So always checking in with that. So if you're on your phone, taking off distractions, realizing what you're doing here. Like, I'm here to get back to DMs, I'm here to connect. And then you do that thing. Okay. So that's the point two is getting rid of distractions. And point one was really focusing on what your intention is here, what you're here to accomplish. Okay. The third thing, really helpful, is setting a timer. Setting a timer or giving yourself an allotted amount of time to do a task, right? No matter how long or how short we give ourselves to do the task, we're going to complete it. There's something, I forget the name of the law, but there's a law around this that's like however long you give yourself to complete a task is how long it's going to take, right? That's why deadlines work so well for humans. We do really well actually under pressure, healthy pressure, under deadlines, under, oh, I got to get this done, or oh, we need to finish this in X amount of time, or oh, okay, nice, we got to do this. Like having a little bit of urgency, a little bit of fire under your butt can help you get things done. So setting a timer and telling yourself, setting the intention, I'm going to get back to all my emails in the next 30 minutes, and you focus. I think one thing that a lot of people forget about or maybe not aware of or lack is that piece of intentionality. It's actually really powerful to be intentional with the things we're doing and the work we're doing, and even just saying that sentence and being like, I'm going to be doing XYZ in the next 20 minutes. You tell your brain that. Our brain is one of the most powerful computers, one of the most powerful programs out there. So if you tell your brain something, it's its job, like it's going to do it. And so how can we use that to our advantage, right? I geek out on neuroscience and on the mindset stuff. Like, tell your brain you're going to do it and you do it. And it's literally like magic. You'll see yourself really shift when you set that intention, right? So, setting a timer, giving yourself a lot of time to do something is absolutely game changing. So, you can do this now. If you're not using your phone, you can use your laptop, you can use a web browser, timer. Or if you're old school, you can grab like a old school timer, like a physical timer, a little clock, and put it on the desk and get that done, right? So, that's number three. Number four, last but not least, this is super duper, uber important. It's that you want to reward yourself after you do the thing. Okay. Now, what this does, it actually, and I talk about this a lot. This is probably one of the most talked about pieces that I talk about in all of my coaching. And I really think we need to reward ourselves, celebrate ourselves more, not just because it's fun. Yes, it's fun, but the actual neuroscience mindset behind this is if we want to build new habits, if we want to reinforce certain positive things, if we want to really get our brain to keep doing things and building these lifestyle habits that are going to improve our happiness, our well-being, our productivity, whatever it is, we need to tell our brain that this is something that we want to keep doing and create positive experiences around it and reinforce that action. Okay. So that looks like rewarding yourself, celebrating yourself. There's lots of different ways to do this. But what this does is it releases dopamine, right? Our brain releases dopamine when we are rewarded. Same idea with the phone, but we want to actually create positive and more healthy, more natural reward systems. And I like to say that because the phone's not necessarily a natural reward system. It's like we get way too much dopamine from the phone, and that often like makes our brain think different things and act differently when really we can also reward ourselves and release dopamine through other things like dancing, like exercising, like cold showers, like eating some delicious nourishing food, like doing a task and getting it done and checking it off your to-do list, like telling yourself you did a good job, like getting acknowledgement from yourself, like saying nice things to yourself, like anything that you enjoy doing, like the list goes on and on and on and on about how we can naturally release dopamine in the brain. So after you do a task, you're going to celebrate, you're going to reward yourself, you're going to do something to release dopamine. All right. One of the easiest ways to do that is literally say, oh, nice. I just filmed 12 TikToks. I just got back to all my emails. Check it off your list. Be like, nice, good job. You just did that. That's good enough. Now, of course, if you want to be like me, I have a dance party literally all the time because that's the best way that I love to celebrate and have fun and release dopamine. But you do whatever you love to do, and then you repeat that process. And that really enforces you to be like, yo, we just sat down, we were intentional, we focused, we got rid of distractions, we got this task done in X amount of time. Like, yes, you go, girl. And then we celebrate ourselves. Now we're telling our brain, like, oh, we can focus, we can get things done. Oh, we can do this. And we just did it and we got rewarded for it. So your brain's like, oh, a reward? I want to do that again. Oh, something fun, something I like. Hey, I think I want to do that again. So next time you sit down to work, you're like, we're going to be focused. We're doing XYZ, no distractions. And after we finish this, we're going to have a dance party or we're going to celebrate. Your brain's like, oh my gosh, I love that. Let's do it. Of course, I want that reward, right? I want that carrot on the stick. And that's what's going to happen. And you do that enough times, your brain's going to really learn how to focus, learn that it wants to focus, right? Give it reasons why it should focus. And you are golden, my love. So that is the tips here. A little shorter episode. I kind of want to try and do some shorter episodes to see how you like it. Let me know in the DMs or wherever you're listening to this. DM me on Instagram and let me know if you like the shorter episodes or longer ones. But to do a recap, here's what I want you to do. Next time you sit to do a task, you're going to be intentional and specific. All right. Tell yourself exactly what you're getting done and why you are here, what you're doing here. Second thing is you're gonna get rid of distractions, okay? No phones, no noise, no notifications, whatever, okay? Third thing, set a timer. I'm going to do this in the next X amount of time. And the fourth thing, after you do that task and you complete it and you absolutely crush it, you're going to tell yourself you did a great job, check it off your list, celebrate yourself, release dopamine, whatever way you choose to do that. And then that is it. Okay. So if you like this episode, please let me know. DM me on IG at PearlCC. And if you're not part of the BioRave movement, the BioRave Club, you best believe you gotta get in there. We do weekly calls about various topics. We have a community on Discord. We're chatting, we're building healthy habits, we're partying, we're living our best life and learning how to thrive naturally. Okay, so that's today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you and love y'all immensely. All right, let me know if you have anything you want me to talk about in the next few episodes. I have some ideas coming up that I'm going to keep sharing and keep showing up for y'all here because we're about to get lit every single day and learn how to live our most lit up lives. All right. Sending you all love. I'll see you all in the next episode and we'll chat soon. Bye.